everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag, which is basically just a set of questions where you can just check in and see how you're doing with your reading for the year, and also to see what your reading plans are for the rest of the year and next year. I've been doing pretty good with my reading so far. I have passed my Goodreads goal of 50 books. I have read 57 books so far, which is honestly more than I thought that I was going to be reading, because I have been in like an up and down reading slump the entire year. Like, it's been very rocky, but I'm really happy that I've been able to reach my goal and I've been able to read some really good books. But yeah, so I will link the creator of this tag down below, and let's just jump into it. So the first question for the tag is, are there any books that you started this year that you still need to finish? And I actually have 3, but technically 2, because I know the other one I'm definitely going to be finishing it sometime soon. But one of those books is actually Babel by R.F. Kuang. I am currently on chapter 3, which is page 46 out of like 540 something pages, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to be finishing it this year or at all, to be honest, because I'm really not like immersed in this world and I'm not like dying to pick it up. I haven't picked this up in maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. Like, it's been a while since I have last read this book, and the writing is beautiful, the premise is really interesting, but I'm just not really connecting with the story the way that a lot of other people are. So I am kind of debating DNFing this one or just rain checking it, because I really don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it this year, and I don't want it to just relish on my currently reading until next year. So I'm still unsure what I'm gonna be doing about this book here, but I'm really upset that I'm not liking it as much as I thought I was, because I've just heard so many good things about it. Like, it's been so hyped up and I thought I was really gonna love it. Like, I thought it was gonna be the perfect dark academia fantasy. I know I need to give it more of a chance. Like, I've only read 47 pages, but it's just such a massive book that I have other books that I want to read more badly than this one at the moment. So yeah, that is Babel. And another book that I still need to finish is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is actually my first reread of it. I read it for the first time in high school and I haven't reread it since then, so this is my first time doing a reread and annotating it, and I am currently on part 3, which is page like 147, and I only have like 3 or like 4 more parts left to go. But again, I haven't picked this up in a hot minute because I just also haven't been in the reading mood, but I definitely want to finish this reread this year because I just love all of these characters so much. I've just been having such a good time annotating it. Like, I'm just having a blast with this reread, and it's just making me remember why I love these characters so much. So really the only reason that I haven't been reading this is because I've just been in kind of like a reading slump slash not wanting to read because I've been doing other hobbies. But I want to try my best to finish this before the end of the year, because I need to see what happens, because like I vaguely remember what happens and I just want to be devastated all over again. So the second question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? And I actually have 2 options. First up, I have Pure Nessie by Susanna Clarke. I don't really know what this book is about, to be honest, but I have heard many good things about it, and I just heard that it has kind of like whimsical, like fall cozy vibes. Let me know if I'm wrong down below, but every time that I've heard people talk about this book, it just sounds like it's gonna be really cozy, and it kind of gives me fall vibes for some reason. And the other book I have is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I know for sure this one has all of the cozy vibes because it takes place in a coffee shop, and that's pretty much all I know, but it just sounds so whimsical and fun and cozy, like in a coffee shop. And just the cover, it gives you like all of the warm and cozy vibes. I'm really excited to get into this one because I just love a good cozy character driven story. And on the back it says a novel of high fantasy and low stakes, which is honestly what I need right now. Just like a quick and easy book that I can just cuddle up with and not have to think too much about it. So I'm really excited to get to this one. The next question is there a new release that you're still waiting for? And I can't think of any new releases that haven't already come out yet. So I'm gonna change the question a little bit and change it to, is there a new release that you still need to read? And I have 2 books for this one. First up, I have Spy Family Volume 8. I love this manga series so much. Like, I don't think I've given any of these volumes less than 4 stars because they're just so fun, so entertaining, but also so heartwarming and just so good. Like, I love this series so much, and this volume came out recently, I think in September, and I have not got around to reading it yet. I don't know why, but I just love this series so much. So I might honestly read this today because I just want something quick to read right now. So this might be next on my TBR, but yeah, I definitely need to continue reading Spy Family. The next book I have is Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong, which also came out in September, I think, but this is the spin-off to the These Violent Delights duology, and I loved that duology so much. So when I saw that a spin-off following Rosalind was coming out, I was so excited for it, and I pre-ordered a copy, and it is actually signed by Chloe Gong. As you can maybe hopefully see here, it is signed by Chloe Gong, and I'm really excited to get into this one because I think there's like fake dating, maybe some sort of enemies to lovers, like hidden identity type of thing, and I just think it's gonna be so good. So I'm really excited to read this one. Next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And it was really hard to pick just 3 because I have so many books on my shelf that I'm like dying to read, but I was able to pick 3 that I really want to read as soon as possible. So one of those is The Rise of Kyoshi by F.C. Yee. This is a novelization of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, but it's kind of like a continuation because we didn't really get to see much of the avatars in that series. So there's these novels to kind of expand upon like the world of the avatars. So as you can see by my bookmark, I actually did start reading it. I started reading it a couple of months ago, and I stopped at page 57 because I just wasn't really in like the mood for it. But I've been starting to rewatch Avatar: The Last Airbender for like the 3rd or 4th or 5th time at this point, and I'm getting really excited about Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I really want to read this book because I'm kind of feeling the Avatar vibes. Like, I think if I put a Avatar playlist on in the background and just read this, it's gonna be so perfect. So I really want to get to this one because I also do have the second Kyoshi book, and then also the Dawn of Yang Chen came out sometime this year. So I really want to continue reading more of the Avatar novels, but I'm going to start off with this one first, obviously, and see how it goes. But I really think I'm going to enjoy and just seeing more about Kyoshi, and I just think it's going to be so good. Ariadne by Jennifer Saint is another book that I need to read before the end of the year. I just keep putting this one off for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm really going to love it because it's a Greek mythology retelling that follows Ariadne. So it's going to be all about the women of the Greek myth world, and I'm just really excited because I've heard so many good things about it. The last book I have for this question is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I have been putting off reading this book for so long, and I don't know why. I think it's because I just heard mixed things about it, but I feel like I'm really gonna love it because I feel like it's gonna be exactly what I need right now. Just a book about someone in their 20s and all of the trials and tribulations of being in your 20s and not knowing what you're doing with your life and everything like that. So I feel like I'm really gonna be able to resonate with this book, but again, I just keep putting it off for some reason because I'm scared that I'm not gonna like it as much as I think I am, but I do want to give this one a try, hopefully before the end of the year. The next question is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? So for this one, I honestly could not pick just like a couple, because I feel like all of the ones that I mentioned in the previous questions, like The Rise of Kyoshi and Legends and Lattes and Ariadne and Everything I Know About Love, I feel like all of those can probably become new favorites. But I also wanted to mention We Hunt the Flame, because I've just seen so many quotes for this book and I just feel like I'm really going to love it. Just the way that this book starts, like chapter 1 starts, people lived because she killed. And then chapter 2 starts, people died because he lived. Like I feel like that, like I don't know how to describe it, but where those two characters are similar but different. I know that there's a word for it, but I just can't think of what it is. But I feel like that I'm really going to enjoy, and just like the romance and all of the quotes that I've seen, like I feel like I'm really going to love this book. So the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? And I actually have. I don't know how many books I want to read next year, but I think I'm just gonna leave it at 50, and then if I read more than that, then good for me. But I don't like setting my reading goal too high, because then I feel like if I don't reach it, I get disappointed in myself. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at like 45 to 50, because that's what I did this year and I went over that and I feel very accomplished. But as far as actual reading plans, I for sure want to read the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I already own all 3 books and I'm gonna be buddy reading it with my friend Megan, so I feel like that's gonna help me want to read the books, because they are pretty big and it's an adult high fantasy, which is really intimidating. But I feel like buddy reading it with her and being able to discuss it with her will make it a little bit easier. So I definitely want to read the Mistborn trilogy. And kind of jumping off of wanting to read Mistborn, I also want to read the Stormlight Archive series, which is very ambitious because those books are like 1,000 plus pages. And I haven't even read Mistborn yet, but I've just heard so many good things about the Stormlight Archive series, like The Way of Kings and whatever the other books are called. And I really want to read them so badly, because I kind of have FOMO, because I just keep seeing people rave about them and I want to know what's going on. So I don't know if I should read Mistborn first and then Stormlight. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I definitely want to try reading at least one of these Stormlight books next year, but we'll see if that happens, because those books are massive, so it's kind of intimidating. But I really do want to read the Mistborn series, because I have FOMO. And I also really want to read the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. I've been saying I'm going to read this series on my channel for like maybe like a year or 2 at this point, and I tried reading it this year. I read like a few chapters of the first book and I just wasn't able to connect with it for some reason. I just wasn't connecting with it the same way that I was with the Percy Jackson series, but I've just had so many people say that I need to read it, so I feel like I just need to push through the first book so I can get through the rest of the series, because I don't think it's gonna be as good as Percy Jackson, because I just love that series so much and it holds such a special place in my heart, and I don't think anything will be able to replace it. But Rick Riordan just knows what he's doing with his books, so I feel like Heroes of Olympus can be really good if I just give it an honest chance and try to not compare it to Percy Jackson, because they are 2 very different series. And then the last reading plan that I have for next year is that I want to make my way through my physical TBR. So I have around 145-ish books on my physical TBR, and I want to bring that number down to under 100 if I can. But I just really want to make my way through all of the books that I own, because I keep buying books and not reading them, and it's starting to get absurd at this point. Like I have 140 books on my shelves that I haven't read. Like that's kind of ridiculous. So I really want to try making my way through my physical TBR by doing little reading challenges here and there, like reading the shortest books on my TBR or the longest books, or reading some romances or some fantasies, and just doing like themed reading vlogs around my physical TBR, just so I can hopefully bring that number down to at least 100 if possible. That might be a little bit ambitious, but I just want to try making at least a little bit of progress in my physical TBR. So yeah, that's it for this video. I need to wrap this up quickly because my phone has like 5% battery right now, but yeah, so let me know down below what your reading plans are for the rest of the year. Like, what books are you really dying to read, and what books do you still need to finish that you've already started, because I'm really interested to see what everyone's reading has been like for this year. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.